Welcome back to the Think CSEC channel. If you're visiting the channel for the first time, welcome. And at this moment, please pause this video and subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell so that you are alerted when new videos are posted. Well, today we'll be doing the CSEC Office Administration January 2017 past paper 2, but today we'll be doing it in the PowerPoint format. So let's get into it. The first question, the A part says, state the purpose for which businesses would purchase a shredder and a risograph, and each of those is worth 2 marks each. So in total, that question is worth 4 marks. So what is the purpose that a business would buy a shredder? Well, the purpose of the shredder is used to destroy confidential and sensitive information. For example, like credit card information, bank statements, and other personal and confidential matters of clients. So they would get the shredder to destroy those information. So that is the purpose of the shredder. Now, the risograph is large organizations. They use this equipment to carry out high speed, high volume copying and printing of documents at an economical rate. So that is the purpose for which a business would purchase a risograph. Let's go on to the other question. Question 1B. Assume that you were recently evaluated by your supervisor on the attributes of work ethic, integrity, deportment, and self-esteem. You were rated fair on work ethic and integrity, and weak on deportment and self-esteem. Suggest one way in which you could improve on each of these attributes to become the excellent employee you are aspiring to be. That question is worth 4 marks. So let's look at these attributes individually. Work ethic. This is the ability to improve the quality of work by ensuring that it is neat, well organized, relevant, and sufficiently detailed, as well as being accurate, well researched, being on time for work, and attending work regularly. So that would be the attributes for work ethic. Let's look at integrity. How could one improve on this attribute? Well, what you could do is that ensure that you're being completely trustworthy, honest, and confidential in all matters. No degree of compromise or deception, setting high standards, right? So that's the attribute of integrity. What about your deportment? How could you improve on this? Well, deportment, you would display a positive behavior and manner at all times. Pay attention to personal appearance and good grooming to create a lasting impression. Appearance. to be consistent with requirements of the workplace, as in the case of uniform requirements and paying careful attention to personal hygiene. So that is what your deportment would involve. What about your self-esteem? Well, you're going to put a high value or premium on yourself, believing in yourself, confidence to perform at one's best at all times, and demonstrating a high sense of self-worth, pride, and self-respect. So that is what one way that you would suggest on each of those attributes. And each of those attributes is worth 1 mark. Let's move on to the other question. Question 1C. It says, Ramon Rigby is a fun-loving, kind, and sociable boss. He converses a lot with his workers and often gives advice to individuals to get their work done efficiently. Everyone develops a family approach to getting tasks done. Jane Willis, an employee, has a personal problem and shares it with her boss, Mr. Rigby. The following day, Jane hears about her problem from 2 of her co-workers. She was devastated. Identify the cause of conflict or inappropriate act in the work situation. So what was the cause of conflict between Mr. Rigby and Jane? Well, obviously, it is a breach of confidentiality. That is your answer. He was privy to personal details, and he went ahead and exposed personal information. So that would be breach of confidentiality. Let's move on to the second part of question 1C. Sorry. It says, in what 2 ways the organization could be affected by the breakdown in the relationship between Mr. Rigby and Miss Willis? So, what could happen in the breakdown of the relationship? Well, how would this affect the work? Well, it could decline in productivity. 2, it would cause organization conflicts. 3, Miss Willis could begin to absent from work because it affects her. So increased absenteeism. And 4, loss of confidence by customers, because this would affect the production of work. Customers would be alert and aware of the situation. So that could be even to the extreme by affecting the customers. They could lose customers. So those are 4 things that could happen in the breakdown of the relationship. So what you could do, you could select 2 from that in giving your answer. Let's move on to question number 1C, third part of it. Describe 1 action Mr. Rigby could take to restore the relationship between himself and Miss Willis. So what could he do? Well, first thing he could do he should sincerely apologize and seek to regain the trust of workers by ensuring confidentiality is maintained at all times. So that's one thing he could do. Apologize. He made a mistake, apologize. Second, he could investigate the matter and admit to wrongdoing and institute disciplinary procedures and apply to anyone at whatever level who breaches confidentiality. So he could do that. Those are two things that he could do to restore the relationship between himself and Miss Willis. So let's move on to the other part of the question. It says, the managers of Gorgeous Flowers Limited are in the process of replacing their telephone operator with an automated answering service. Write a greeting in not more than 15 words to be recorded for the flower shop. And that is 2 marks. So a greeting. You could say, thank you for calling Gorgeous Flowers Limited. If you know your party's extension, dial it now. Or you could say, thanks for calling. Please leave your name and number. We will get right back to you. So that's 2 greetings that you could write. One, you could select any from those 2. So we're going to go on to question number 2A. Says, identify 2 barriers to communication that may interfere with the effective transfer of information in an organization. That is worth 2 marks. 2 barriers to communication. 1, biases, whether it may be personal, cultural, grapevine, and perceptual. 2, language or semantics. 3, literacy skills. 4, time or noise constraints. 5, physical impairment. 6, differences in age, gender, attitude, education, or status. 7, technical and emotional issues. So you have 7 things. You could select 2 from the 7 to give for your answer. So you select 2. Let's move on to question number 2B. This is a 2-part question. Let's look at the first one. State the function of each of the following mail handling machines. 1, franking. 2, collating. 3, sealing. And each of those is worth 1 mark. So 3 marks in total. So what's the function of the franking machine? Well, the franking machine prints postage on items to be mailed and eliminates the need to stick on postage stamps. individually. How about a collating machine? Well, the collating machine is used to assemble the pages of documents in the correct sequence. That's the function of the collating machine. How about the sealing machine? Well, the sealing machine is used to pull the envelopes to be sealed for larger volumes of mail in a matter of minutes. So that would give you 1 mark each. So that is question number 2, the first part. Let us move on to the second part of question 2b. It says, state any 2 steps to follow when doing a mail merge. So 1, you prepare a form letter with the correct information like the name and addresses. You insert that. Then you prepare a mailing list with the names and addresses, and then you combine that to the form letter with the mailing list to create personalized letters for each recipient. Right? So those are 2 steps that you would follow when doing a mail merge. Let's move on to the other question. It says to question 2c, assume that you are Kamal Scott of 17 Tulip Avenue, St. James, Barbados. You are presently working as an accounts clerk at Phillips Publishing House, 19 Central Highway, Bridgetown, St. Michael. Although you are deeply committed to your job, you cannot help but request 2 weeks in July to attend to some urgent personal matters. You are going to use the current date to write a letter, and that is worth 6 marks. 6 marks. Very interesting. So let's look at a sample of this letter. So here we have it. You have the address at the top, 17 Tulip Avenue, St. James, Barbados. Then you have the date, 9th of January 2017. Then it is addressed to the Human Resource Office Manager, Officer Manager or Manager, Phillips Publishing House, 19 Central Highway, Bridgetown, Barbados. You have to include that address too. Here is the letter, the body. Dear Sir or Madam, I am kindly requesting 2 weeks leave from work in July 2017 to attend to some urgent personal matters. Thanks for your attention and consideration. Yours faithfully or respectfully, Kamal Scott. So that is what a sample of your letter would look like. So take a look at it and pay attention to the key details. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 2D. Suggest 2 actions organizations could take to ensure that the confidentiality of files is maintained at all times. And this is worth 2 marks. What are some actions that could take? 1. Ensure all employees are sworn to secrecy. 2. Implement a policy for maintaining confidentiality or improving security. 3. Offer training to emphasize the importance of this attribute. 4. Those who breach confidentiality should apologize publicly. 5. Apply sanctions or penalties. 6. Limit the number of persons who have access to information/files. And 7, use passwords. So you have 7 answers given. So you would just select 2 from the 7 to be awarded your 2 marks. Okay, let's move on to the other question. Question number 3A. Now, it says 2 major roles of the receptionist. Here we're given a format. 1, maintain effective interpersonal relationship between the organization. 2, to promote a positive image of the business. Now here's the instruction. Give 2 guidelines or tips to a prospective receptionist on how he or she could perform the role effectively. Let's look at the first one. How to maintain effective personal relationships. Here are some guidelines or tips. 1. Greet each visitor politely or professionally according to the time of day and offer to help or seek advice if needed. 2. Make persons feel welcome by acknowledging them with a smile and eye contact, even if you are on the telephone. 3. Do not allow a visitor to wait for too long without notifying the person he or she is seeing. 4. Provide a visitor's log and pen to write information. 5. If a visitor has to wait, inform him or her of the facilities available, such as coffee machine, magazines, and where the toilets are situated. Okay, so those are some tips on how to maintain effective interpersonal relationship with the organization. What about how to promote a positive image of the business? Let's look at some tips for that. 1. How can we promote a positive image of the business? Choose attire that reflects the image or color of the firm. Observe good personal hygiene. 2. Organize your workstation neatly or promptly remove dirty cups, glasses. Avoid eating in front of clients. 3rd, Never discuss anyone with staff or a visitor. Display the right attitude. 4. Be polite, pleasant, welcoming. Offer reading material or refreshment. Never judge. This is the 5th one. Never judge anyone by his or her appearance. Treat everyone equally. So those are some tips or guidelines that can help to promote a positive image of the business. Okay, let's move on to the other question now. Question 3B. Identify 3 items of information that may be obtained from a passport other than the traveler's name. What are 3 important information that can be obtained from a passport? 1. Traveler's place or date of birth, photograph, or gender. 2nd, place or date of issue or origin of the passport. 3rd, passport number or date of expiry. 4. Emergency contact information. 5. Occupation or signature of the traveler. 6. Maiden surname of female holder. 7. Visa names of the countries visited, duration of those visits. Those are some of the things that are included in a passport. So you would select 3 from the 7 to give for your answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 3C. The next meeting of the Student Council will be held in the Senior Students Meeting Room at 1500 hours on Friday, 5th of June, 2017, to discuss the proposed changes to the school's IT policy. Refreshments will be provided. Please call me on extension 2574 if you are unable to attend. Items for the agenda include welcome, minutes of the previous meeting, matters arising, proposed changes to the school's IT policy, any other business, date and time of next meeting, apologies for absence, Joshua Briggs, Council Secretary. Here is your instruction. As the new Student Council Secretary, use the information provided to draft a combined notice and agenda of meeting for the Orion High School. So this is worth 8 marks. So that is the instruction, a combined notice and agenda. How could we draft this now? Let's look at a sample. Okay, so here we have our combined notice and agenda. So we have the school, Mount Orion High School. So the notice of meeting, this is what you would include in it. It says, The next meeting of the Student Council will be held in the Senior Student Meeting Room at 1500 hours on Friday, 25th of June, 2017 to discuss the proposal changes to the school's IT policy. Refreshments will be provided. Please call me on extension 2574 if you are unable to attend. So we include our agenda. So how do we include that? First one, we have our welcome. Then we have our apologies for absence. Then we have our minutes of previous meeting. Then fourth, we have matters arising. Then fifth, proposed charges to the school's IT policy. Then sixth, any other business. And then seventh, we will have our date and time of next meeting. And at the end of it, the person is Joshua Briggs, Council Secretary. So you cannot do them separately. It says a combined. So you have to put the two of them together. And sometimes that is where students make the mistake. They write up a notice differently and then an agenda, but no. Right. So each information is placed under the correct heading. So please take note of that. Right. Let's move on to question number 4A. It says, this is the optional questions now, section 2. And that instruction says, answer any 3 of 4 questions in this section. So let us look at question 4A. What it says. It says, identify 2 attributes that a clerk in the Human Resource Management Office should possess. 1. Tact, diplomacy, courtesy, respect, good manners, being polite. 2. Confidentiality or trustworthy. 3. Patience or tolerance. 4. Initiative or willingness. 5. Integrity or honesty. 6. Deportment, self-esteem or being meticulous. And 7. Regularity or punctuality. Right? So that is for question 4A. Let's move on to question number 4B. Explain the main difference between the job description and the job specification. That is worth 2 marks. 2 marks. Here it says, a job description is a document which lists the duties and tasks that must be done in a job and provides an overview by outlining key features such as title, summary, main duties, and terms of employment. Whereas a job specification is a document which outlines the human characteristics or attributes needed to successfully complete the duties for the position, such as skills, attitudes, abilities, and experience. So that is the main difference between the job description and the job specification. Let me go over that again. A job description is a document which lists the duties and tasks that must be done in a job, and it provides an overview by outlining key features such as title, summary, main duties, and terms of employment. Whereas a job specification is a document which outlines the human characteristics or attributes needed to successfully complete the duties for the position, such as skills, attributes, attitudes, abilities, and experience. Let's move on to our next question. Question number 4C says, state 2 factors that a firm should take into consideration before choosing a supplier for goods and services. That is worth 2 marks. What are 2 factors to be considered? 1. The cost or price. 2. Urgency or timely delivery, or location or the supplier's capability. 3. Incentives or discounts offered, or credit purchases allowed. 4. The availability of goods. 5. Quality of goods or good reviews or background check. So those are 5 factors that a firm should take into consideration before choosing a supplier for goods and services. So any 2 that you select from that 5 could be your answer. Let's move on to the other question. Question number 4D. On the 30th of December 2016, the Surefix Electrical Company Limited of 101 Andrew Avenue, Chaguanas, Trinidad, telephone 868-688-2594, placed order number 259 for A1 Electronics Co. Limited of 15 Main Street, Santa Cruz, Trinidad, to supply as follows. We have 10 electric stoves at $2,500 each, 6 washing machines at $3,000 each, and 12 flat screen television sets at $5,000 each. A trade discount of 12.5% is allowed. Here's the instruction. Complete the purchase order form which was provided to show the amount paid for the order and to show all notifications, all calculations, and that is worth 9 marks. Now, students, you all know what a purchase order form looks like. So I'm just going to walk you through the process. So you would ensure that the name and address of the supplies on your purchase order form. Ensure that the date and order number is on your purchase form. Ensure that the information is accurate under the 4 columns. You have the quantity, particulars, price, and then you have total, which is the total price. Now, what you include? The total for all 3 of your items, right? So you're gonna have to work out each of the question that was mentioned there. You're gonna have to multiply 10 by 2,500, which you're gonna get 25,000. You're gonna multiply your 6 by your 3,000, which you're gonna get 8,000. Okay, you have to multiply your quantity by your price, your unit price, and then 12 by 5,000, that is 60,000. And then you're going to add all of that together, which you are going to get 103,000. And then you're going to find 12.5% of that. So the trade discount, finding 12% of that, you should get $12,875. And now, to get your grand total after your trade discount, you're going to deduct 12,875 from 103,000, which you should get $90,125 for your answer. So what I just did was to walk you through the process, because you should be fully aware of what a purchase order form looks like. All right. So let's move on to our other question. Question number 5A. It says, state 2 advantages of using e-commerce to procure goods and services. Right? 2 advantages. So, what are 2 advantages? 1, goods being bought can be seen or described in display, pictures or advertisements. 2, one can choose from a wider variety of suppliers for quality of goods or services, each with its own website. 3, lower cost, as suppliers do not have large premises which incur additional expenses to display their stock, or reduces human interactions and paperwork or elimination of middlemen. 4, quick contact can be made to suppliers around the world or internationally through email to obtain quotations, place orders, requests, rapid delivery, and make payment. 5, time is saved, as customers do not have to leave their offices or homes to do their shopping or increase customer base. And we see a lot of that happening right now with this COVID situation. Persons are staying right at their home and shop online. Many businesses are going e-commerce, so that's another advantage. And the 6th advantage is purchases can be made 24/7 with delivery made based on availability of products. Right? The website is up 24/7. So at any given time, an individual or customer can go and purchase goods and services. So any two from the seven can be used for your answer. Any two from the six are. All right. So now that takes care of question number 5A. Okay, let's go on to question number 5B. Give two reasons for the importance of managing the stock of all items in an organization. Two reasons. That is worth 2 marks. Two reasons. One, prevention of pilferage or theft. Two, control of inventory or prevent shortage or overstock or wastage. Three, signaling of market trends or needs or performance. Four, monitoring availability of capital or to determine if company is making a profit or loss. Five, to have just-in-time supplies that a business needs, for example, perishable or expired goods. Six, optimizing storage space. So those are 6 reasons why the importance of stock or the managing of stock is being done in an organization. So any two that you select from that 6 could be your answer. So that is the importance of doing stock taking. Okay, gonna move on to the next question. Question 5C says, one of the main functions of the marketing office is to advertise the company's goods and services using a variety of sources. For example, television or radio. Here's the instruction. Suggest 2 reasons why firms would utilize television or radio as against the print media for advertising their products. And that is worth 2 marks. So what are 2 reasons? Or we could say 2 advantages of why firms use television or radio against print media. For example, like a newspaper company for advertising their products. Well, one, using the television or radio, you could reach a large number of persons at the same time. 2, you could, using television or radio, you could use techniques. The advertising company would use techniques to appeal to the buyer's eyes, such as music, pictures, visuals and endorsements from famous persons like a musician or somebody that is very popular that will attract and convince customers to buy products because famous people have a way to get persons hooked so that they can purchase a product. So those are 2 reasons why firms will utilize television or radio. They will appeal to the eyes, and that can convince consumers to buy goods and services. So let's go over the two reasons again. One, reaching a large number of persons at the same time, it is a more popular medium. Two, use techniques to appeal to the buyer's eyes, such as pictures, visuals, and endorsements from famous persons that will attract and convince customers to buy products. All right, so that takes care of question number 5C. Let's move on to the other question. Question 5D. It says, a seller, Genomic Office Supplies and Equipment Limited of 50 Main Street, San Fernando, Trinidad, and telephone 869-639-3400. Sent a quotation number 199 to Shamax Office Services, 20 Central Avenue, Gasparillo, South Trinidad, with telephone 868-688-8500, dated 30th of December 2016, and thanking them for the opportunity to quote the following: 2 high-speed photocopier, and give you the type of photocopier at $10,500 each. 5 ergonomic office chairs at $1,000.50 each. Terms of sales: delivered by a company's delivery van within 2 days. Sales tax of 15% is applied to all products. The goods can be taken from the warehouse. This offer is valid for 1 month. We will be happy to deliver your order. Jack O'Brien, Sales Officer. All right. So the instruction says you're to use the information given to prepare the quotation form that was provided. And this is worth 9 marks. Interesting. 9 marks. Well, students, you know what a quotation looks like, right? So I'm just going to walk you through the processing, what you should get for your answer. So after you multiply your quantity by your unit price, you're going to multiply 2 by $10,500, then 5, multiply 5 by $1,050. Then when you get that, your subtotal should be 26,250 after you have worked out that together. Then the question says you should find 15% sales tax of that. So 15% of $26,250, you should get $3,937.50. So your grand total, you're going to add your sales tax plus your total amount. So you're going to add 26,250 plus $3,937.50. You should get $30,000, $187.50. So that would be your final answer. So what I did was just walk you through the process. You multiply your unit price by your quantity. So 2 multiplied by 10,500, 5 multiplied by 1,050, add them together. Then you find 15% of that, and then that tax amount, you add it to your total. And that would give you your grand total, right? Good. So let's move on. to question number 6A. It says here, the procurement office is responsible for stock control, which also involves overseeing goods inwards. Instruction: list 3 functions the procurement office must perform when the goods arrive. Now, this question is very tricky. It says the procurement office, right, is responsible for stock control. So you're going to find the function of the procurement office when the goods arrive. So that's key, when the goods arrive. So it's not just the function of the procurement office, but particularly when the goods arrive. And that is worth 3 marks. So let's see, what would be the function of the procurement office when the goods arrive? 1. Check goods received against deliver notes and purchase orders. 2. Check packaging for apparent damage or expiry date or state of goods. 3. Give a receipt or signature to the carrier. 4. Pass goods into the warehouse or some other part or section or department to the organization. 5. Check invoices received from suppliers, for example, the price, quantity, and address. 6. Ensure the warehouse stores goods in suitable and secure conditions. So storage is very important as well. So those are 6 answers that you could select any 3 from, and you would get your full marks from CXC. Let's move on to the other question. 6B. Question 6B says, list 3 duties the dispatch clerk must perform to ensure that statutory requirements are met. And this is worth 3 marks. All right? So you're going to list them. Now, 3 duties the dispatch clerk that must perform. Notice this key part now. To ensure that the statutory requirements, key to the question, statutory requirements are met. So what it is that the dispatch clerk must do, right? Oftentimes, persons, mix up this question and get confused. So the 3 duties: 1, in relation to statutory requirements, make special arrangements for hazardous freight. 2, ensure health and safety precautions are observed in the office or stockroom. 3, prepare and distribute lists or brochures of safety procedures. And 4, report any breaches of health and safety practices or hazardous situations. So those are 4 duties that you could select any 3 from, and you would get them correct. Let's move on to the other part of the question. Question 6C says, the cash discount terms offered by Caribbean traders are 4%, 7 days, 2%, 21 days. Otherwise, net. Customer Alan Blackwood made purchases totaling $1,050 on 5th of April 2017. He must also pay a delivery charge of $75. Calculate the total payment if customer Alan Blackwood settles his account on the 10th of April. Now this is worth 3 marks. So right away we get our details. Our cash discount, it says, is 4%. And that's 4% of the original cost, which is $1,050. Now when you find 4% of that, you get $42, right? That's the discount price. Now, what you have to do is subtract your $42 from your original cost, which is $1,050. You get $1,008, right? So 4% of that original cost, he would pay $1,008, right? But the question does not stop there. It says he must also pay a delivery charge of $75. So you would therefore include or add your $75 to your cash discount price that you got, which was $1,008, and that would give us the total payment that he would pay would be $1,083 to settle his account. So that would be your answer. And you will get your 3 marks. Let's move on to question 6D. Here it says, in 2016, Caribbean traders lost some of its customers because of poor communication with the public. Briefly discuss one way in which each of the following functions of the corporate communications clerk may contribute to attracting new customers and reclaiming previous customers. So to attract and to keep your previous customers, for them to keep coming back. 1, these are what it tells you: promoting corporate image. 2, producing a company newsletter. Or 3, upkeep of the company's website. And each of those, you're going to briefly discuss one way in which each of these function: promoting corporate image, producing a company newsletter, upkeep of the company's website. You're going to discuss how each of these function contributes to new customers and keeping old customers. So 1, let's look at them individually. What is the function of promoting corporate image? Well, improves or maintains communication. So the corporate communications clerk would improve or maintain communication with customers seeking to rebrand or reassure them of the quality and reliability of products and services, which in turn encourages their loyalty and helps the company to become more competitive. So that's what the function you would perform in promoting the corporate image, selling the image of the company, as it were. Let's look on producing a company newsletter. What is the function of the corporate communication clerk? It relates to that. Well, he would contact our communication with customers while advertising and sharing important news about the company, employees, product or services, keeping them aware of special prices, discounts, coupons, or vouchers, and introducing new products or services. So that is a function that the corporate communication clerk would do in producing a company newsletter. What about upkeep of the company's website? Well, he or she would enable the organization to reach a wider range of prospective customers, provided them with up-to-date details and pictures of products, promotions or discounts, and services, offering a 24-hour information or communication, messages or comments, and the convenience of online purchasing. So that is the function of the upkeep of the company's website to ensure that it is up to date, pictures are attractive, and highlight any discount or promotion that is happening. And as we know, a website is available 24 hours, should be available, and people to be able to, at their own convenience, do online purchasing. So that would take care of that question. Let's move on to the final question of this January 2017 past paper 2. It says, identify 3 skills that are required of a clerk in the sales office. That is worth 3 marks. What are 3 skills? 1, literacy. 2, numeracy. 3, filing or organizing records. 4, data entry. 5, basic information technology or word processing. 6, proficiency in the use of productivity tools. 7, competence in the use of organizational tools or time management. 8, communication skills. So any 3 that you select from that would give you your full marks. Okay, let's move on to question number 7B. Here it says, outline 3 reasons why the dispatch office should collaborate with the sales office. That's worth 3 marks. Why the dispatch office should collaborate with the sales office? 1, make available items needed to fill customers' orders or lists or information. 2, ensure timely scheduling of deliveries and pickups. 3, provide any special packaging or delivery required or keep customers satisfied. 4, pack orders or goods to be delivered to the consignee. 5, estimate volume of orders being obtained or avoid low stock levels. 6, estimate or provide storage space required. 7, estimate or provide volume of labor required. 8, advertise on promises which can be made to the customer. 9, ensure promises are fulfilled. So from that 9 things that we listed, you could select 3 for your answer. Why a dispatch office should really collaborate with the sales office. Those are some of the things, reasons why that should be done. Let's move on to question 7C. Here it says, Miss Sandra Valentine, the sales office clerk at Stationery Selections Unlimited, recorded an order received by telephone from customer RT agencies on the telephone message form shown below. She immediately began to prepare an invoice number 1364, VAT registration number 33901, but was unexpectedly called away to deal with another matter. So let us look at the telephone message form. Here is our telephone message form. So here we have, it says, for sales manager or department, caller information. You have Mr., Mrs. Ravitani, and there's an X beside Mr. Company RT Agencies, PO Box 156, Calder St. Vincent. And we have the different messages noted as call for you, which there's an X that is placed there. Return your call, needs to see you, sent a fax, please call. There's another X there. Those are what the messages call for you and please call. Then we have will call back, sent an email. Those boxes are left unchecked. Left a message below. That is where there's an X marked for that. Here's a message. Would like to order 3 HP Office Jet Pro laser color printers at $390 each. 200 reams of Chemex 8.5 by 11 inch in copying paper at $12, $75 each. 150 Caribal 100-page duplicate delivery notebooks at $15.25. 2 Fujitsu 57160 scammer at $2,187. All right. Date 11th of May 2017. The time is there 2:04 p.m. and it is signed by Sandra Valentine. Here's the instruction. Complete the invoice provided for Stationery Selections Unlimited using the information given on the message form. So we have our description there, right? We have our quantity and the price. We have our detail there. We're going to use that now to prepare an invoice for the Stationery Selections Unlimited. Okay. So let's walk you through the process. So here are what you should ensure that is in your invoice. Students, you know what an invoice looks like. So I'm just going to walk you through the process. Ensure that you have your correct VAT number. Ensure that you have your correct date according to the information given. You may ensure that you have the correct name and address, and make sure that your calculations are correct. For example, the total price for the 150 notebooks, when you multiply the quantity by the unit price, you should get $2,287.50. And then the various items that was listed, the Chemex 8.5 by 11 inch copying paper, the correct calculation, the subtotal. When you do all of that, when you work out all of the information that was given in the message form, then you should get a total of $10,381.50. Then you're going to find 15.5% VAT of that, which is $1,609.13. And then when you add that to your subtotal, your final total price should be $11,990.63. So that would be your final total price. And ensure that the signature of the sales manager is being approved at the end of your invoice. So that is it, guys. We have completed the January 2017 past paper 2. So don't forget now to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Like, share this video, and leave a comment down below so that we could know um, what else you are interested in seeing on this channel. So thanks again for viewing the Think CSEC channel, and take care until then. And don't forget to keep watching these videos over and over again, so that if you see these questions, which will do reoccur again, you're well familiar with them. Okay then. Thanks for watching.